What up, people? It's your boy, Master Judy, out here with another comic review. So, I've had this comic for a while, Venom 157. This is currently one of Marvel's hidden gems right here, and it still doesn't disappoint. The last issue, we saw Kraven and Venom hit it together, and Venom was brutally injured. And so Kraven, vowed to say, I'll get you next time. And we can see here Kraven the hunter with his hunting knife and his hunting rifle, firmly showing his dominance over Venom after hunting a successful prey. I really like this cover. It really encapsulates Craven as a glorious hunter. But I digress. Let's get into it. So you have the usual summary of the thing on top of here. That the thing has been taking that Eddie's been taking medicine to help the symbiotes, but he's been wounded. Now he's back at Alchemist Route. So we have Mike Koss as the writer, Mark Bagley on the pencils, John Dell and Scott Hanna on the inks, Dono Sanchez Almara on the colors, Clayton Cowles as the letterer. Bagley, John Dell, and Ronch did the cover. Then Allison Stock is the assistant editor. Devin Lewis is the editor. And then Axel Alonso is the editor in chief. So Axel must have thought before he left at me, I guess this one's making me money. Maybe somebody might notice this one so I can keep my job. Nope. So we move into it. So we have Wilson Fisk saying that as mayor, I'm gonna bring law and order to New York City. Gotcha. Just a simple page of that. So back at Alchemex, Kingpin is basically saying that the city is dangerous, that we've got a potential population of feral creatures living beneath it, meaning the dinosaurs, and we're gonna have something to do about it. And of course, the doctor at Alchemex has mentioned that you've made quite a mess. Saying, well, Eddie says that, well, you've made quite a mess. Like me, I wasn't the one who left a colony of dinosaur people who could lead directly back to Alchemist to live freely in the sewers. And Eddie's like, no, I meant your stitching. I'd have expected a chemist to have steadier hands. And he's like, well, I'm not a chemist. And he's like, well, you woke up. I asked your symbiote to keep you out. I was nervous. I don't like people staring at me. He's like, I didn't come here to stitch you. It didn't come for me to. It's like I didn't come here for you to stitch me up. It's like the building is practically its own city. Why didn't you bring me to the infirmary? The work I do for you is secret. The deal was with Miss Allen is a secret. Look at the news. We can't go a few days without a Venom sighting, and the negative press isn't making Miss Allen happy. Also, I don't know anyone on this floor. I don't like to use the telephone. So he's like, yeah, I'm antisocial. So we have the Kingpin saying that I'm going to have the police commissioner here detail you what we're planning on doing. And Eddie keeps saying that, yeah, it's going to heal. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to get Craven next time. It's like, who did stab you anyway? I'd hate to see that man. And then Eddie realizes that the police commissioner has hired Craven the Hunter to handle the epidemic down in the. Ooh. Excuse me. Dang. Let's decide to. He's Sergio Kravinoff comes from a family with many generations of history in this city. With this city, he has been a donor and a contributor to our parks and wildlife preservation initiatives, and the more I consider him a friend. Ooh, sorry. So Kraven pretty much says that yes, I've dedicated my life to studying preservation of the natural world, but not at the cost of our world. So beset as it is by countless threats. And then of course the guy's like, the man's physique is impressive for his age. Lion meat is it's obviously very rich in protein. So he thinks that Kraven eats lion meat. Interesting. But Kraven basically says, with great alarm, that's happening on the streets. I'm going to make sure that your children are safe. But I pledge to get rid of these monsters. And of course, that gets Venom angry. And then he's also on the news saying that we're also concerned about, Venom. We have to find him. If you see him too, let him know. So the guy says the police are looking for you. He's like, the police have always been looking for us. That's part of why our arrangement with Alchemix has been kept secret. And he's like, but they've deputized a superhuman hunter to find you, and the dinosaurs. Now what's stopping the police from following Craven to the dinosaurs to us? And he's like, they can't follow Craven they can't follow if Craven's dead. So He's like, do you actually eat people? It's like, do you have any weapons I can use? No. Poisonous chemicals? No. What about the serum that stops me from having psychotic episodes? Currently also out of that. And he's like, you suck, man. He's like, I did save your life with my shoelace. And he's like, I have to protect those dinosaurs, basically. And he's pretty much saying, don't tell us I was here. And he's like, yeah, I won't. And he's like, this is just bad news for everybody. So he's not liking this. But meanwhile, we cut back to Lee Price right here. He's in prison, and of course, in the last issue or 2 issues ago, Lee Price basically beat up these dudes who wanted to beat him up, and of course, he killed 2 of those men. And he's like, so it's like, as my lawyer, you came to tell me bad news. Like, no, quite the opposite. So apparently, he shows Lee Price a photograph or the newspaper headline of Venom wanted in a cannibal attack. So what does that mean for Lee Price? So we go back to the sewers, and Venom is disguising himself, doing his thing. He's making sure that nobody catches him. So he's smarter this time. He knows about the traps. He's setting them off before so that nothing will catch him off guard. So he happens to become invisible, which is a power I never knew about the symbiote, but it's interesting. So he's like, okay, I've done it. I'm stealthy. He won't get the drop on me again, so he gets the drop on Kraven's like, I expected you might make it through the traps I set. So even he expected Venom to learn from his previous mistakes. And he's like, excellent, then you shouldn't be surprised by what's about to happen. It's like, I'm sorry. I can't hear you. I'm wearing industrial strength ear protection. A new friend of mine introduced me to an old friend of yours. You probably weren't expecting her, so I doubt you noticed her. What, Eddie? Wait, Eddie, we know that woman. Her name is Shriek. So this is apparently Carnage, the girlfriend of Carnage, or ex-girlfriend of Carnage. So Shriek gives we get a great page of this. Shriek just blasts Venom away, boom, all the way down. And then we just see Kraven's like, yeah, that isn't even enough. Hit him again. So she hits him again. We see that Eddie realizes that the stuff above him is a residential area. So we just see basically all of this stuff, like a family or a guy and his girlfriend up in an apartment just talking, and then the whole building starts to collapse. And then Eddie's like, no. He's like, you gotta give us more webbing, dear. Come on. It's like, no. So he tries to save the city, but everything starts falling on him. Boom. And then we just see Cave's like, oh, you fool, you crossed a cave in. And we just see that, Sloppy, you can't control yourself better. It's like, I wanted his head as a trophy, basically. And she's like, you wanted him dead. He's dead. You want a trophy? Go play in the Little League. So that's funny. It's like, I'll just have to ensnare a few of those beasts below and get them to dig them out. But your obligation to me isn't fulfilled until that happens. Until then, keep out of the way. The hunt is about to begin. So once he finishes and he feels he's taking care of Venom, we have the dinosaur people, and the initial person who met Eddie back in 156, the last issue, is telling her whole crew that they're being hunted by something. And he's wondering, I thought you said the Savior was supposed to save us. And she's like, the Savior's hurt. Longo was killed. We don't know if he's been driven off. And then Kraven's telling his men to get ready. It's like, you follow my lead and don't do anything. And I have bait ready. So we see that, these creatures are starved, basically. So Tana, it's like, we must forge, Tana. We have no meat. We can't live on raw garbage and stray rats alone. But it's like, what's that sound? And then we see a bunch of rats come in. So of course they're hungry. And this is the bait. Meanwhile, Eddie is trapped, and he's like, I wake up to an alarm bell ringing, and for a second I think I'm back in prison. There's another riot. But then I sense my other still vibrating in cold shock, and my silence, and I realize the ringing is in my ears. And we realize that Eddie has a broken leg, a couple broken ribs. And he's like, in normal circumstances, my other would truss them up and help them knit, but something hit us, and hit us hard. And for the first time since our reunion, I feel alone. And so the symbiote is knocked out. It's like, but he feels like something else wakes, that he feel under my pain, I feel its fear. That There's a rage building, brainless rage. I'm overdue for the treatment that keeps it in check. Without it, my other begins to die and leak through my pores. But before it dies, it degenerates into red fury, a state I can't pull it from. And we see that, and in a few hours, now we'll be overdue, and then we both die. So we see that Eddie is in the exact same pose as Peter Parker was when a bunch of pipes fell on him, and he was crushed, and he had to do what he had to do to get out. So we'll see if Eddie has the same resolve. It's interesting. Once again, this was a solid book. Give it 8 out of 10. Venom has been doing what it's supposed to do. You connect with Eddie. You connect him. He's a real anti-hero, but he's trying to be heroic. So I like this book, and I encourage you guys to go ahead and pick up the Venom issues. So thank y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications. Once again, I do these reviews for you, the people, because I want to discuss good comics and get them out there. I have a bunch of comics that I've picked up in the past and I haven't reviewed. I'll probably do that, but tomorrow is New Comic Day, so the new stuff got to get picked up first. Maybe with a combination of some old stuff, but the new stuff got to come in first. So thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.